Our eyes are getting worse, and screens are a big part of the problem. A recent comprehensive review found shocking levels of eyesight issues amongst children and adults.
Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation.
Welcome back. Hope you're well. Hope you've been enjoying the Black Friday madness. A little bit more on that today. And today I've always prided myself on excellent eyesight, but I've had to concede in recent years that my eyes are simply nowhere near as good as they used to be. I've been trying to convince myself that it's a natural consequence of aging. After all, many people develop presbyopia as they get older, where you gradually lose the ability to focus on close-up objects. But I've been forced to admit that aging's role is only a small part of the story for me. Because when it comes to the end of a long day in front of my computer, my eyes just don't work as well. Things get a bit blurry, my eyes are tired and overworked, and they're not like that at the beginning of the day. So our eyes are definitely getting worse. It's not just me. There is a lot of research on it. I've been looking at this for my new book, Stop Scrolling. It's all about screen time and eyesight. And today's guest is Dhruvin Patel from Ocushield. He is an absolutely brilliant guest to talk about everything in terms of eyes, because Ocushield is the ideal companion to all that screen time. And I've been using Ocushield products. They're absolutely brilliant. They've got blue screen filters, protectors, glasses, which are great. And Dhruvin's background is eyes. He knows eyes inside out. Ocushield means no more straining, and I'm really impressed by what they do, and Dhruvin as well, because he's brought a very, very specific level of expertise in one area, and he's brought it into an area where I think more and more people are going to need help with it. So here is Dhruvin Patel on Zestology. Dhruvin, how you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Exhausted from cricket, but can't complain, all good.
Yeah, I know you're a very high level cricketer, and we've just been discussing that before quite a high level cricketer. But listen, I'm absolutely fascinated by your company, Ocushield, and how it's all come about, and it ties into one of the topics that we've been talking about for so many years on this podcast in terms of getting the light right. And I think about this a lot. Just trying to think actually. Oh yeah, I've got like, well, you don't sell light bulbs, do you?
We've got a portable desk lamp actually called the Oculamp.
Yeah, well, I've got one of them, and we absolutely love it, by the way. Although my wife seems to have stolen it for the shed where she goes out and works. But it's an absolute work of art, actually. It's really beautiful. So you've thought a lot about light, not just in terms of blue blocking glasses, but the lights that we have on as well, haven't you?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, now we're effectively an ecosystem for all things blue light and eye care. You know, from what started out as blue light protection that was just on digital devices themselves, aka screen protectors, we've branched out into various areas of where we need to mitigate any risk.
And do you think, I mean, it's quite a sort of bold area in which to build a company, isn't it?
It is, and it's, you know, with my coming from optometry background, interesting was as an industry, we've gone through ebbs and flows of research coming out where there's, you know, some people saying, oh, blue light, you know, how does it impact their health? Right. Not in substantial research. And then you've got times where research is strong at it saying, right, there's just been a new study and it's saying you need to get yourself some blue light protection. But there's always that, you know, I think it's such an interesting space where lots of things are pointing in the right direction, where us as users need to look at how we use digital devices and artificial light around us. And, for us, it's always been ahead of the curve and trying to innovate and give the best possible products for consumers to, alleviate any stress they have in their mind of technology around them, basically.
Yeah. So just explain to people exactly what you do and what your company does. I think that's a good first step.
Yeah, sure. So I studied optometry at City University in London. So I was becoming an optometrist, which is an eye care professional where you want to look after someone's eyes, from prescribing glasses to diagnosing issues at the back of the eye or front of the eye. And while I was studying, I was working on the weekends at a optician chain known as Vision Express. And, that's earning a few bob to get my university studies supported, but also to get some industry experience. And when I was working on the weekend, the lead optometrist, she gathered the team, including myself, and said, "Hey, everyone, we've got this new product innovation for people that wear prescription glasses. It's a coating and it's called Blue Control. And if patients get this on their glasses, they'll be able to reduce eye strain symptoms." And this was back in 2013. And I was like, "Oh, this is interesting," because I've always grown up with my mother telling me looking at screens is really bad for your eyes, right? But she never had a reason for it. She just kind of said, "Stay away." And I was so compelled that I ran back to the university, and it kind of almost demanded from the faculty. I said, "I want to do a research study around this artificial blue light." And somehow I got my way. So I did some research on how blue light affects the eye's physiology, which is the eye structures, and our circadian rhythms, which is our sleep and wake cycle. And after 9 months of doing that research, I found, yes, there was research pointed to blue light from screens causing eye strain and headaches, but it was also suppressing melatonin, which makes it harder for us to fall asleep. So at that point, my mind was a bit blown. I was like, wow, these are two massive pain points. It was just the iPhone 4 had just come out and screens were getting bigger and brighter. And I thought, you know what, this is just going to be a massive problem. Was if I'm thinking about ways to solve it, was I didn't wear glasses, so I didn't want to get glasses for this. So I said, how can we create technology that goes directly onto a device screen itself and limit the harmful blue light? So armed with that idea, there was a business competition at the university at Cass Business School, and I submitted with my idea and I got some grant funding, and I after 24 months of research and development, launched my products to about 1,000 people that pre-ordered just from me meeting them. I collected their email addresses and they were so compelled to buy the products or me to part with their cash. And that's how the business started, really.
Wow, that's great. And presumably at the same time. So how long ago was that?
So I started in my third year university year, 2015, January, and I qualified as an optometrist in 2018, which I also went full-time onto the business as well.
Okay, so you never actually worked as an optometrist?
No, I did. So you qualify, you do a pre-registration year, which is clinical exams, and then for 2 years I was tied into Specsavers, and then once the shackles were off, I could leave, and I was like, right, I need to focus on this this project that I'm building.
Yeah, great. And I sort of think that I just realised that if you're watching on video, I've left the bathroom door open so you can see right into the bathroom. Normally I shut that door. Anyway, it's fine. I think that this is an area, I've put a lot of thought into this area actually, because I do think that our eyes are really suffering. And I know my eyes are suffering. And look, I'm in my mid-40s, so that sort of happens. People's eyes aren't as good as they used to be. It tends to be when you get to your mid-40s. But I think that screens make it a lot worse. And I've spoken to a couple of eye experts recently, and they've all said the same thing. When you're looking at a screen close up all day long, it's not good for your eyes for all sorts of reasons, not least that glare that you get from that white light from the screen, especially late at night.
Yeah, there's so many reasons why our eyes are affected. And, when I always like the analogy of when you're at the gym, you do a workout and, usually you do, let's say on average, everyone does 10 reps on a certain exercise. And then you call it, you have a rest. If you were to keep going and do 50 reps or whatever, you'd be pretty much fatigued. And I think that's how we should start imagining our visual system, right? Because our visual system is is in itself a system of muscles. You know, when your eyes are looking at something close up, your eyes converge. And what that means is they come together. And generally, when you're looking at someone straight on, or if you're looking at a point far away, they're not converging at all. They're pretty straight and they're in a relaxed state. But when you're looking at screens or anything close up, they're converging and accommodating, and it's requiring a lots of power from the visual system. And then if you add on top of that, your visual system's deciphering aberrations of light. So this high energy short wavelength blue light, again, it's, you know, causing the problem for the visual system to try and break it down and transfer what it's seeing to the brain. And, you know, no wonder so many of us at the end of the day, you know, if you're like me working at screens, where a lot of people are, whether it's in office or at home, you're finding that, wow, you know, my eyes are just feeling it, and it takes you a little bit longer to see things far away or adjust your vision because, you know, all this demand on our visual system.
Yeah, no, it does. And actually, like, we were talking about this recently, and I interviewed Nathan Oxenfeld, who is an eye expert, and he was taking, and I did actually notice this, but he was taking very subtle micro moments away from looking at the screen when we were talking to each other. And what he was doing was he was just looking off into the distance for maybe a second at the time, just focusing on something way different, like I am now, out of the window, and then coming back to the screen. And he said doing that is really good for relaxing the eyes and just taking a few moments, because you're constantly looking at something close to you. If you're getting used to shifting your line of vision from close to far away and close to far away, that's much better for your eyes. Is that something you do?
Yeah, definitely. I don't. So there's a rule that most optometrists recommend and adopt. It's called the 20-20-20 rule.
Okay.
So, you know, every 20 minutes, look away for 20 seconds, at least 20 feet away. So out the window, down the corridor. I don't admittedly do that to a T. What I do is the 45-20-20 rule, because if I do every 20 minutes, I'll be so distracted. But yeah, you know, you've got to adjust it to your own schedule. And for me, I do it every 45 minutes, and I try to take a break for that exact reason, to give the visual system a bit of a break.
Yeah. It's, you know, I mean, in terms of the lights that we have, you really notice it at night, don't you? If you've got something like F-Lux on your computer or Night Shift on your phone, and it sort of accidentally switches off, and then you switch on your phone at 8 in the evening, it's so bright, isn't it? And that's when you notice just how bright these things are. But for a lot of people, I mean, if you walk past the houses on our street and you walk past our house at 8 o'clock at night, it looks like there's a campfire. We've got red light gels on everywhere. We've got your light on, which is lovely. You know, we've got really nice sort of chill, warm lighting. But a lot of the other houses on the street, it looks like Portsmouth docks down there. You know, it's really bright. So I think, you know, a lot of people can really benefit from thinking about the quality of the light that goes in.
Yeah, it's so true. And a lot of people don't think about it. You know, they get, for example, they've got bright daylight lights in their bathroom. So no wonder when they wake up and they try to go to use the bathroom, again, as you said, they get blinded, or, you know, if they're in the bathroom long enough, they can't get back to sleep. So I always recommend, you know, in terms of lighting, get a Philips Hue or LifeX light bulb, you know, let it adjust to your, wherever you're based. And, you know, that warm lighting is the minimum that you can do to your, light environment. You know, something which is at 3000 kelvins or lower has low blue light emitted. And you want to be turning that on from 6 p.m. onwards. And you can also, brightness of light is really important as well, because brightness signals intensity, and the higher the intensity of the light source, the more impact it's having on you.
Right. So what is it? I've just looked up LifeX.
So what I do is you sync them to your phone, and it knows what time it is. So when you turn it on, it's basically, it's coordinated in a way that it matches the sun. So obviously in the morning, you want blue light from the sun in the morning, right? Because it tells your circadian rhythm that it's daytime, so it gets your body ready for the day. But as you go throughout the day, you want that to subtly turn down. So from daylight, you want to go to warm light. And these light bulbs, they do it automatically, so you don't have to think about what you're doing. And when you're talking about red light gel therapy as well, you know, again, the type of lighting that's coming from this is emitting low levels of blue light at that kind of really warmer temperatures. So, you know, for some people who won't like, you know, having everything red, this is maybe a good first step for them getting into it. And then, easing their ways into that kind of red light bulbs.
You see, I'm so hardcore. I've got separate lights. So one is like daytime, and then there's a separate switch for the evening. There you go. But the only thing about those LifeX bulbs, I mean, they look amazing, but you've got the extra EMFs, haven't you, from the Wi-Fi from the bulbs? It's another thing that connects to the Wi-Fi.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about EMF, then there's another element of other ports in your house which are emitting those signals. I do know of some light bulbs where they actually toggle through 3 different modes. So you can turn them on and off, and they toggle through different light temperatures, so you won't have any Wi-Fi within them.
What are they?
I don't know the name. It might be something that we're working on, but
oh, okay, right, yeah. Well, look, if any spring to mind, let me know. I'll put them in the show notes. And if it's something you're working on, then let us know, because obviously then there wouldn't be any EMFs as well.
Exactly, yeah. It's something great. It's something we're looking at, as you mentioned, light bulbs. We understand our community that they care about light, so it's only a natural step of us trying to look after everyone's eyes and health.
Yeah. Just interrupting this podcast for one moment to let you know there is a Black Friday special offer happening for Bioptimizers. And I mean, listen, if you want to dramatically improve the quality of your sleep, if you'd like to be bulletproof to stress, and if you sort of get irritable and anxious a little bit, magnesium is the way to go. And Magnesium Breakthrough, as so many listeners now know, is the #1 magnesium product to take for this. But bit different in November, because they've gone for their Black Friday special. It's their offer of the year. I've got a different address for you today, but you can get 25% off. So if you've sat on the fence, this might be the time to get involved. It's the best time. You can sort of stock up on the products you love, but you can also try new ones at the same time. Bioptimizers.com/Zestology. Easy to remember, bioptimizers.com/Zestology. Enter the usual code, Zestology10. So that's Zestology10, and you will actually get 25% off any order at all. This is going from the 21st to the 29th of November. Okay? You will get all of Bioptimizer's best-in-class products with 25% off. That's going from the 21st to the 29th. And you can go to bioptimizers.com/Zestology, enter the code Zestology10 to get 25% off any order. It's an exclusive Black Friday Zestology offer. Do it while supplies last. Make sure you get the Magnesium Breakthrough, which is obviously one that I love, and I love quite a few of the Bioptimizers products are stocked up. And in fact, I've got a new order coming this afternoon after I record this podcast. So that's excellent news. But that is the offer for this month, and this month only. It is bioptimizers.com/Zestology. Enter the code Zestology10 to get 25% off. Back to the show. I want to encourage people to get involved with Ocushield, because I think it's really cool what you're doing. So just run through, I mean, I sort of know, and I've been trying out the glasses for the last 2 months probably. And I really like them, and they're really comfortable, which I can't say for all the different blue light blockers that I've used. And I think I do feel slightly less headachy after using them on a full day in the office. And I think they're sort of fairly stylish as well, actually. So honestly, really nice bit of kit. I definitely think it's just like, these would be great for gamers or people spending all day. I mean, I guess gamers isn't really the market, it's of professionals, isn't it? But if you're spending all day in front of a screen and you're a biohacker or you're a bit health conference, these are the things to be wearing. They're brilliant.
Yeah, no, totally. And just on the glasses as well, we made them about 20 grams, so they're really lightweight. We understand people that are wearing these aren't going to be wearing glasses traditionally. So putting glasses on your head for a couple of hours isn't very natural. You probably end up taking them off if they're very heavy. So we had that in mind, and actually the materials are made out of sustainable materials, so it's all recycled plastic actually that's gone back into creating that frame. So yeah, we care a lot about doing good for the world as well. We're kind of B Corp pending. I don't know if you're familiar with B Corp.
I've heard of that. Yeah. What about the supplement? You got a supplement as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So we've just so our goal at Ocushield is to let eyes thrive, right? And that's our vision. And you may or may not know that eyes have a natural protection pigment that protects the eyes from UV and blue light, right? It's in the macula. and it absorbs the UV and blue light. But if you don't have enough of this pigment within the macula, then you're going to be naturally absorbing more UV and blue light versus your counterpart.
Right.
So what we've just launched is the Ocushield's Advanced 360 eyesight, which has lutein and zeaxanthin, which are the key ingredients which reinforce the back of the eye, the retina, and the macula to help with the UV and blue light absorption. But they also have vegan omega-3, because when you're looking at screens, you get dry eyes because of numerous reasons. And to support people that suffer from dry eyes, omega-3s are really important because they are the oil that's lubricating your eyes. So if you also have low levels of that in your body, you're not going to have a great eye experience. So yeah, we've created we'd like to think an eye supplement for the front and the back of the eye, hence the 360 name, because it's got all the ingredients in there. We feel that look after your eyes for, a young or older person to make sure that they're getting the right nutrients in, because it's so hard to get, all of that from your diet, because we're such busy people, and making sure you get the right ingredients is quite tough.
Yeah. Oh god, I supplement a lot already, so I'm not going to notice one more. And then you obviously got the glasses we talk about, and they are light. You're right. And then the light is an absolute work of art. I was quite surprised when I switched it on. I thought it would be sort of more orange or red in terms of the intensity. Tell me about what is the actual sort of quality and the intensity of the light.
Yeah, and with everything we do, we want to make sure that people will use it, right? So in healthcare, compliance is really important, and it's like apps, right? We all know they're there, but a lot of people turn them off because it turns things really orange, and they don't like using it. So it makes the solution redundant. And when we started with our hero screen protector products, where you just put it onto your screen and filter the harmful blue light, they do what Night Shift does without changing the colors on the screen, right? So you can enjoy scrolling through Instagram or watching TikTok without changing the colors on the screen. And that's the same way we've approached our Oculamp. So you've got the 3 color temperatures you can toggle through. You've got bright daylight, then cool daylight, and warm white. And you can change through the intensities of the light as well. So two quick tips I always tell people when trying to reduce the amount of blue light is, one is brightness. If you can reduce the intensity, great, you reduce the source of blue light. And second is proximity, is the distance of a screen or a distance of a light. The greater the distance is, the less it impacts you as an individual. And when we create all our products, we take a lot of that into consideration. So yeah, Oculamp is low blue light emitting, and it's flicker free as well, where flickering can also put extra stress on our visual system.
Lovely. Yeah. I do have the hardcore option on my phone, which is I've gone for the, have you seen this before? The total red screen.
Nice.
Yes. You can go into the grayscale settings, and it's actually the color, I think it's the color impairment settings. If you're visually impaired in some way, you can set the phone up to look however you want. And if you can, on the iPhone, you can set it up so you triple click the home button and you get a totally red screen. So I do that at night for extra power.
I love that. I'd love to do a spectrometer reading of that, actually, because what's interesting is how white light and colored light also, I mean, you might have seen the new iPhone 14 is actually 2 times brighter than the iPhone 13.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah. So they did it because they want people to see their phone in the sun. Now, if you imagine you're trying to beat the sun, as a source of, so imagine how bright your device has to be if it has to outshine the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of said it one. But yeah, like the device is so bright, and even with different color, like that's a type of way you can. It's called like color overlays or amending the color temperature. Sometimes the way LEDs are manufactured, you can still get spikes in blue light even when the visibly there's a color that you can see, but what's been generated by the LED, you've got the UV and blue light, and you've got to remember some UV light crosses over into the visible spectrum, so it's not visible as a color. So you can still get elements of short wavelength blue light being emitted even when changing color temperatures and such.
So actually what happened there was that was a very elegant, very gentle, very kind way of saying that my little iPhone hack is a load of rubbish. It might be a load of rubbish. You need to test it with a meter.
The spectrometer on it, but like I said,
it was really lovely the way you gently told me that it might not be as good as I thought it was.
It's definitely a lot better than using on its normal setting. Definitely a lot better, right? But it's always it's there's a misconception that everything we see is, you know, for example, people think blue light, the screen has to be blue, right? It doesn't. And, you know, if you've got a white screen, that's probably emitting more blue light than a blue screen, which is really interesting.
That's really interesting, actually, because I've found the one thing that has affected my sleep in a positive way is just leaving the phone out of the bedroom, regardless of whether I've got a red filter on it or not. Just leaving the phone out, and the last sort of hour from bed and the first hour in the morning, just having a clear mind and not having that temptation there, because I am not disciplined enough to not look at my phone if it's in the bedroom. And what I've got instead is, I mentioned that we've got these red light filters on some of the lights in the house. And I got in touch with a professional camera operating company. They provide gels for West End theatre shows and stuff like that. And I just bought a roll of red gels from them. And I think it's about £8 for this gel, which I cut up into little strips and put on various lights. And I put one over my alarm clock, so it's just a red light. But are you saying the same thing, that even though I've got a red gel over this alarm clock, it might actually be quite blue light, even though it looks red to me?
Is it a LED alarm clock, or is it one of those old school, like Kindle black, you know, kind of black ink kind of alarm clocks?
No, it's an LED. It's a sort of cheap one off Amazon that I've put this red gel on the top.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's probably not going to be as bright as an Apple device, but because it's LED, you always risk the way LEDs are manufactured, because of their UV and phosphor LED back, that there's always a chance there might be. But you, as I said, you've probably eliminated 80 to 90% of any risk there. But you never know. You might be pleasantly surprised to see there still might be some blue light being emitted.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think that'd be a brilliant product. Because I've looked, honestly, like, you know, I'm just, I'm like a dog with a bone when I get an idea like this. I have not been able to find an alarm clock that deals with this issue. I just have nowhere, not in the States, not in the UK. So this has got to be something for you, isn't it?
That's very interesting. So you're thinking a no-screen alarm clock, is that what we're thinking?
No, not a no-screen alarm clock, just an alarm clock which is certifiably blue light blocked at night. Yeah. So not a little bit blocked, totally. So I know that I can check because I like to know the time in the middle of the night if I wake up.
Yeah. I
mean, what do you look at in the middle of the night if you need to know the time?
But I'm like you. I don't have anything in my bedroom. I always say your bedroom is for two things: sleep or sex, and that's it. If you get into the habit of watching things, having things that even read, I try not to even read in the bedroom because you're stimulating your mind to go into a different state of mind. But we don't have any clocks or anything like that. What we have is a physical alarm clock, which you can set, and there's no screen on it effectively. So it just,
how do you say you don't know what the time is if you wake up?
So no. So you can so I know because I can set the time so when the alarm goes off, you know what time it is. But it works in I don't know how to explain it. You know, when you've got, think about old school football or cricket match. You know, when they turn over the scores and it's like a flat.
Yeah.
Like so there's no, it has no screen on it.
Right. So if the room is dark enough, you can't see that anyway.
Yeah. So I never look at the time when I'm sleeping because it almost messes me up. So if I wake up at night and I'm like, crap, I've been either tossing and turning or it's like nearly close to waking up. I struggle to get back to sleep, or I'm like frustrated about the amount of sleep I get. So I just try not to worry about it.
Yeah. When you've got a 3-year-old son, you're sometimes up quite a lot in the middle of the night, so it's nice to know what's going on. But
I've not had the pleasure of kids to experience that problem. So yeah.
Have you heard of a company called Mudita?
No, I haven't.
Mudita. They are developing minimalist mobile phones, and they've got a product called Mudita Harmony, which is a paper display alarm clock, and it actually does look beautiful. So I've been looking at that a little bit, but again, I'm not quite sure how you would sort of read in the middle of the night, read the display. But anyway, that looks quite good. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I mean, this is good. Yes. Paper displays are great. They're good. But again, if it's like the Kindle has a paper display, the older versions, but they still had an LED light, pushing out what was on screen. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see actually. But this looks fun.
Yeah. But I mean, again, how do you see it in the night? I mean, what is does it light up or what? That's
no, I have to, we have these little, sensored lights that are all along the floor where if there's movement, it lights up, and it's like, it is admittedly LED crappy, warm light, right? It's 3000 Kelvin, it's just on the floor, and if I need to see the time, then I'll have to pick it up with me and take it there and be like, right, this is fun.
Yeah. All right, well, look, it's really good to talk to you. Dhruvin, what is one book that you'd recommend and one tip for living with more energy and vitality?
My book to read, it'll probably have to be Simon Sinek's Start With Why. I think that's probably a very, it's almost a life-changing book. It really gets you to evaluate and think about why you're doing everything, Start With Why in everything you do. So I definitely recommend that book. And your second question was, what do I do that gives me supreme energy? Was that right?
Yeah. What is one tip for living with more energy? Obviously, we've spoke, there's been quite a lot of tips already, but what is one tip that you would come up with?
I think the main one that's really changed for me is sleep hygiene. I think making sure that you're falling asleep every day and waking up every day at around the same time. I've been guilty on the weekends of changing up that schedule, right? You're like, lying, etc. But you'll be surprised to see how on Mondays and Tuesdays, you're probably even more groggier because of what you've done on the weekend, in the sense of you started to wake up a little bit later than you usually do and get to sleep a little bit later. So for me, that's really changed like my week. And I recommend anyone to try it.
Good man. It's great to talk to you anyway. Loving what you are doing. And what's the end game for the company? I mean, where do you hope to be in sort of 5-10 years time? What's the best case scenario?
Oh, really good question. Our end game is to make sure that, if anyone's thinking of eyes, we want them to come to the Ocushield. I think that's our end game. And if we can do that, it's a bit like Specsavers now, right? If people think about eyes, they generally think of Specsavers here in the UK anyway. But we want to be the digital age Specsavers. So for example, we're creating a tool at the moment where you can test your eyes remotely from your laptop or monitor in under 7 minutes. So you don't have to necessarily go to an optician to find out if you've got a gross visual problem, but you can use an Ocushield remote eye screening test to find out if you've got an issue, and check your color vision, prescription vision, etc. So yeah, we're trying to innovate in that space.
Yeah. That's really very, very cool. And the site is Ocushield.com?
That's the one, yeah. So Ocushield.com.
Brilliant. Keep up the good work. And I'm loving the glasses and the light as well. So really, really loving what you do.
Thanks so much, Tony. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Cheers, Dhruvin.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dhruvin, and thank you for listening to Zestology. A quick reminder, today's podcast partners are Magnesium Breakthrough and Bioptimizers. You've not got long left to make use of that Black Friday deal. If you go to bioptimizers.com/Zestology, enter the code Zestology10 to get that special offer. All the Bioptimizer supplements are best in class. As I love Magnesium Breakthrough and Masszymes and Vegzymes and some of the others as well. But now is the time. Oh, they've got a new sleep one as well. I don't know if the sleep one's out yet, because they sent it to me in an unmarked box. It's a sort of blue powder. And my wife in particular, Faith, has been trying it out pretty much every evening. I haven't had a look in on it. But I think that one might be out. If it's not out yet, it's out soon as well. And we might do a month on that too. But go to bioptimizers.com/Zestology and enter the code Zestology10. Thank you for listening. See you next time.